What's the biggest thing that's changed for you in the last 8 weeks since your baby's been born?
Big aversion to posting on social media. Now having to think, is the stuff I'm posting now potentially going to affect stuff in the future? Social media is an opportunity to share everything about your life and overshare. A lot of people don't think about potential ramifications of what that stuff could be used for.
What is the point of posting content?
If I was to start posting stuff, it's just going to go out to random people who have no idea who they are.
Yeah. Do you know how you're going to teach Lando to be mindful with social media?
Mark Zuckerberg will not have his kids on social media. Big red flags.
If it's not good for children, there's a higher chance it's probably not that good for adults either. What's the biggest thing that's changed for you in the last 8 weeks since your baby's been born?
Definitely big, I'd say, aversion to posting on social media.
Okay. About yourself or?
Nah, about the family more often. I also just like consuming stuff. Like I'm trying to be on social media less, which is definitely a hard thing because like we run a social media agency.
Yeah.
And
true.
like it's literally our job to consume social media. So that's definitely been a challenge. But the huge thing being like obviously privacy and having to think way further ahead about not necessarily myself. Like I can post stuff myself, it doesn't matter. It only affects me. But now having to think like, is the stuff I'm posting now potentially going to affect stuff in the future for
What are you
my
posting
child,
with
my
your
family?
baby?
More just like, I guess the whole thing of social media is like you have an opportunity to share like everything about your life and overshare.
100%.
And I think a lot of people don't think about like the potential ramifications of what that stuff could be used for, who's viewing and that sort of stuff, especially because it's like an open platform.
Yep.
It's definitely made me rethink social media as obviously a marketing tool rather than just being like, let's just post stuff for the sake of posting stuff, which a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, I'm just going to share my life and keep people updated. Obviously, if you've got a private profile, much easier to keep it like under wraps and within the confines of what you'd like to do.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely made me think about like, what is the point of posting stuff if it is not being used in a marketing sense?
Yeah, okay. So it's, what have you landed on for that? Like, what is the point of posting content? Well, this is originally it was there to show people what you were up to and then see what other people were doing with their lives if you couldn't call them or those kind of things.
Which is like, it definitely can be used for that. And I think it's just more so because, perfect example for me, right? So my main profile I've got, I built it to market to videographers with a product.
Yep.
So I've got like 28,000 basically random people who I don't know.
Yep.
And now it's like, if I was to start posting stuff, it's just going to go out to random people who have no idea who they are or like what their intentions are or anything like that. You know what I mean? Whereas it was like, if I had a new profile and it was like, I know exactly who's following me, I know exactly who's going out to, much easier, right? But I think it's just made me really think about, obviously our business is designed to help businesses market online through their social media.
Yep.
It's not necessarily a tool just to post for the sake of posting.
True.
And literally since Lando was born, haven't posted anything.
Yeah, okay.
Did one post faceless of like baby's born,
Yeah.
but very much like we're not going to be sharing him online.
Yep.
But yeah, but it's made me really think about like how to make content if I was going to do it, but then also what is the intention. So, and that's why I actually may end up making that second social media platform, the Doco Daddy, to help people understand like, or techniques around capturing moments and documenting life. But it is a funny one because it's like the process is around filming my child and it's about helping people film their children.
But you're not going to share your child?
But I'm not going to share my child online.
Fair. But then the outcome of the Doco Daddy isn't for people to share their child online.
No.
It's for them to document their children and their family for their own internal purposes.
100%. But this is the conundrum, which is if social media is a tool to market your business or to market your brand, how do you market a technique without being able to show the technique? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like a bit of a conundrum that I've come up against.
That's an interesting one. I'm not really sure how you're going to solve that.
Because I was thinking like, you could blur their face and so you can show like the general thing. You just don't see like who it is or whatnot. Just like
just use AI to face change it. Make it like Squidward or something.
put something over it.
Or Squid Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Do you think that through going through that process, it makes you think a bit about how to be intentional online, not just in terms of like the time that you're spending on there, but what you're posting and how being more intentional with what you're posting might actually create a better experience for you online?
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it comes back to what we do in the business, which is help people market their brand. So every time I go to post now, it's like, who is this serving? How is this helping like build the brand or something? I'm not just like, I'm just going to share a photo of Lando because I feel like it. Because like, I can easily just text my friends or family that if they really want to find out. But I don't feel the need to just go, well,
here's my whole life.
Here's my whole life, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something like, it's an interesting thought because like I'm of two minds of it where you mentioned there around making sure you're intentional with it, but then like who is this serving? Not just posting it for the sake of it. It kind of makes me wonder whether sometimes having that real intentionality behind your social media actually makes it more fatiguing than what it should be. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, is this perfect? Does this fit to my target audience? There's a million ways to overthink what it is you're posting, so then it becomes fatiguing and then you just don't do it at all. But then on the flip side, when you just post everything, it becomes like I think we all have those family members that like post pictures of every single one of their meals, and it's like no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, I do.
No one cares. Not even your family cares. And you even told me, my mother's done this.
Yeah.
Where she's posted a picture on Facebook of her meal, and I was like, "Oh, do you really like that picture?" She's like, "No, not really." And I'm like, "Why'd you post it?" So like you didn't like the picture, and you took it. Yeah. Why the fuck would any one of your friends or family give a shit?
What was the caption? Do you remember? Or just the photo?
As soon as she told me she didn't care about the picture, I was out.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was like, fuck.
Whatever. But again, this comes back to like highlight reel as well. Of everyone just posts the best bits and whatnot. Which it also goes.
To be honest, I'm grateful for that. To a certain degree.
To a certain degree. But I think because this goes against this whole system that I'm trying to build, which is capturing as much as you possibly can, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. So maybe that's another thing. That's another reason I'm like, I don't just want to share.
I heard this saying, I think it was Tom Noski put it into his course about sharing your scars, not your wounds. And I agree with that to a certain extent when it comes to like social media content, especially personal content or community content. When you're going through something traumatic and like you're in the breadths of going through something, quite often that's when we go looking for community. And like, God, if I look back at my Facebook page when I was like 16 through to 18, horrific. And so you're like, you're posting about your shit just in the moment of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people that are drawn to seeing other people in pain aren't there to help. They're there to like see parts of their own trauma play out, but then watch someone else go through it. And so there's this idea of like being real online, which I agree with. I think if people are just manipulating what they're showing so that it's always good, but it's not, then that's a fabrication and that's a lie and you shouldn't be lying.
Yeah.
If it is always good, then sick. But
generally not the case.
Not the case. But if you're spinning bad things to be good. Whereas the idea of sharing your wounds means that once you've gone through that thing, talking about that experience and how you got through it is actually quite beneficial to society as a whole, to see how other people have dealt with certain situations. Because, you know, if every single person talked about that one or two traumatic things that happened in their life, how they got through it, there's a really high chance that if you're going through something similar, you're going to find someone who has been through what you're currently going through and has a way that they got through it that would resonate with you.
With the end intention being, would you like to learn the way that they've done it? Like, would that be the reason? Like, oh, this person has some really interesting insights. Maybe I can learn from them and take that on myself.
100%.
So again, it's a marketing.
Yeah, some people are not marketing. People are marketing themselves rather than a product.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think that's where I come back to is posting for the sake of posting.
Actually, I'll go back for a second there. Because is it marketing? to do something helpful
Mm-hmm.
for someone else or share an experience that is helpful to someone else without wanting anything in return,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I'd classify that as marketing. Like if you're doing it to build a personal brand because you wanted to grow, yeah, that would then come under like...
Which is what majority of
strategy.
people are doing.
Which is what majority of people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just think about like if we run two scenarios, right? So if we go, scenario one is you post, let's say, post every single day for a year, and the end goal is to build an audience to sell a product or sell a service or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like good outcome. If you post every day for a year, like almost like force yourself to post to build this thing with nothing to sell or nothing to do at the end of it, and then you stop, it's like, is this time and effort worth it? Yeah. And I think it's because I spent 7-8 years posting on YouTube, and it's like I started building an audience, started to build some stuff, and then I just decided that I kind of didn't really enjoy doing that anymore. So I've stopped, and now it comes back. It's like, was that time spent doing all that stuff worth it now that it's just kind of like stopped? Like there's nothing to show for it. And again, it comes back to like, what is the point of posting? Like if once I figured out this method and I want to market it, then I'll be posting more consistently. But is my time better spent spending time with the family or like catching up with friends or something rather than just posting stuff for the sake of posting?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a deep-seated conversation for people of like, why are you posting? I think for a lot of people who don't have businesses or don't have something that they're marketing, I suppose, not to guess, but I assume that most people are posting for validation. Some form of external validation. People to see your thing and be like, I like what you're doing.
Yeah, I like it. Get some sort of feedback.
Get some kind of positive feedback, which is how human beings work.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting that having Lando is making you think a lot about like, why am I posting this thing and what's the end outcome?
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, hey? Lots to think about.
I think it's cool though when you bring it into a business sense of stuff, because I mean, like, you could post anything and a lot of stuff could work over a long enough time frame, but it's like, does it make sense for what it is you're doing? As well as like when you're talking, a thing I think about a lot is like, what do I want the digital landscape to look like in 10 years? Because I think that our generation are probably the first ones through the glass window of social media. Has been a big part of our lives for, I don't know, for me it was probably from 16, 17 onwards. It's probably when Facebook started being a thing. Had MySpace first.
Yeah, MySpace.
And like having your top 3 friends was already traumatic enough for people. You could just ruin lives by pulling people out of the top 3 and not telling them they're checking. Anyway, so yeah, we're like the first people through the glass window of like, what is social media actually like doing to us as a whole? And so I think about like, what's the digital landscape of social media going to look like in 5 years or 10 years, or what would I want it to look like? Because as you said before, we are actively, we wake up at 9, like coming to work at 9 o'clock, and we are actively adding to the digital landscape of social media for multiple people and pushing out there. Like I think at the moment we're pushing out anywhere from like 80 to 120 pieces of content a week, which is still pretty small change for in the grand scheme of like content agencies and stuff, but we're still making a dent.
Multiply that by 5 platforms as well.
Yeah. We're pushing a lot of content.
We're pushing a lot of content out there.
And so it's like, okay, what do I want the digital landscape to look like in 5 to 10 years time? And what am I doing today to help with that? And like, as you know, that's part of why I like educational content is one, I enjoy consuming it. And so if you're going to create something, it may as well be something you like consuming. But secondly, it's like, if all of social media was actually like truly educational and helpful, not just like really high level fluffy stuff, but actually like real lived experiences, real outcomes for things. I genuinely think that if you're scrolling, no matter who the business is that's advertising to you or what it is you're consuming, you're probably going to get some kind of value from watching that, as opposed to now there's a lot of stuff where like entertainment has value. Yeah. Like it's good to be switched off and it builds community. You can laugh with people.
To a point, I guess.
To a point. Yeah. But still entertainment is a lot of way that we like communicate. So it has a purpose. But aside from that, like feeling kind of good for a little bit and switching off, doesn't have a lot of purpose after that. And so at the moment, entertainment content performs far greater than anything because it tends to go to a wider audience. Obviously, it's more consumable, more shareable kind of stuff. So I think that if we're doing less entertainment on social media and more education, then we might have less problems with people being fully addicted to like just scroll, and less issues with people like comparing themselves to other people potentially.
Yeah. I do actually notice that when I watch like say a long form YouTube video, I'll generally watch it and then I'm kind of like satisfied.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could just turn this off and go. Whereas when you're on the doom scroll, it's just like consumption after consumption. You get like because it's just like so much dopamine, much harder to pull out of it.
100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will do it before bed. Like, I don't know. And so sometimes you end up just going way past your bedtime and you're just watching shit. And it's like, what a waste of time. What a waste of time.
Don't know how you get there.
I really wish that they would introduce into Instagram an option of like what kind of content, like when it first pops up, this would be sick. Someone needs to do this. Is like when it pops up, you say what kind of content you want to consume and set a timer. So I'd be like, sometimes you do want to watch entertainment. Like I love watching stand-up comedy clips and as well as like podcasts that are from people just sharing their story, which is probably technically entertainment, but of a better variety, I think. If you're like, for the next 15 minutes, I want to watch entertainment and then
switch to full education.
Like when it's educational content, like after a while you do kind of fatigue on it and you're like, I've learned enough. And then you switch off, which is good. But then when you're in those opportunities where you're like building something, like I've been using Replit a lot, which is an AI like web app building tool. And so I'll go on there and like type in Replit and just see what stuff people are making and watch their educational content.
Yeah.
And then once I've got enough creativity and ideas, I'm like, oh, fuck it. And then I'll go across to actually doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas entertainment, I'll just scroll.
There's nothing to
There's no end. There's no end to it.
And there's no like, I can now take this and to put action into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Do you know how you're going to teach Lando to be, maybe not cyber safe, but like how to be mindful or more meaningful with social media? Or is it not even worth thinking about because you got no idea what a social media is going to look like by the time it's his deal?
In like whatever, like 15 years time.
He might be able to see Instagram with his eyes, like just like it's going to be chipped into his brain.
I think the other thing that slightly concerns me, not even slightly, like quite concerns me is when you hear all these big, like Mark Zuckerberg will not have his kids on social media, like all this stuff, it's like you're designing these products. Obviously, they're not designed for these people. But if you, the person who designed this product, is like very much against children using it, like big red flags.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously a reason they understand the effects of the psychological stuff that happens when they're like young people use this. So I think it's a good thing to think about. Like, if these people are saying no, then might be something to think about.
I think it's true of adults too. Like if it's not good for children, there's a higher chance it's probably not that good for adults either, which is like, that's something I struggled with at like early days of the business was like how I've always liked social media in terms of like building community, especially Instagram in the early day. Like a lot of my friends that are now lifelong friends, like yourself, are all people that I met through social media or through other people who've met it through social media. So it's such a good community building platform for that. But I've always been hesitant around like how insidious it can be to bring things through. And so at the early days of the business, it was always hard to kind of like combine those two parts of like this thing that I think on a grand scheme of things is probably bad for us. But then my job is also creating things for it. What's the go there? I think it took me a long time, probably like 6 to 9 months to actually like figure out how I wanted to be a part of that little piece, which then where that like the full bang into educational content came from. But yeah, it's super interesting.
Very, very interesting.
One of the things that I want to know more about is like talking about becoming a new dad. How much does it shift the way that you like see stuff, like opportunities that you see and like things that you recognize out the world, or the way that it, like everyone talks about it becoming a priority shift. So we'll talk about opportunities first before I talk about that, because they're two different things.
Yeah.
How does it change the opportunities you see in the world?
I think it's probably too early.
Yeah, okay.
Like it's just all focused on.
You just told me about a sling.
Oh, that was,
that's cool.
yeah, sorry, yeah. But that, I guess I'm just exposed to different things that is new. It's always good when you see like a whole new side of something, because then you see it for like the first time. But I think it's a bit too early. I've been like trying to think of things that I could, like ways that I could help parents. Obviously, like the Doco Daddy stuff is an interesting step, or the first step. But have been trying to think of like looking at different things that we use on a day-to-day basis, and like, is there a way that I could make this better or stuff like that? But honestly, nothing really has come to mind straight away. Like I'm always looking for things to do, but I think it's like just so focused on
Keeping a baby alive.
keeping a baby alive.
Yeah.
The little time that I have outside of that is
Super interesting. One of the things that I've found interesting to see from other people is, I don't know, other business owners and stuff, quite often the catalyst for people to like scale their business is actually having kids, because then they condense the time in which they want to spend at school. Like Barry's a good example of that, where he made the decision that he wasn't going to work past 3 p.m. because he always wanted to do his kid pickups, which is sick. And so if you've got that constraint, it's like, okay, what does the business need to be to allow for that to happen? And sometimes that's enough of a motivator to kick things off.
Yeah.
Have you found that your priority shifted at all then?
I've definitely noticed, obviously like my role in the business allows me to do this, but I definitely notice when it hits 5, it's like,
Bye.
I'm ready to switch off. Just because it's like, I think it just takes a lot of mental energy for me to stop thinking about stuff in the business, because I've got quite bad ADHD. But I'm always like thinking about stuff. And if I don't just go, cool, business stops here, family life starts here, I can't be present. So I think I've had to learn to just, I'll pick this up tomorrow at whatever, like 9 a.m. And from here until then, I just need to be like present with the family. And also just like, it's the only time I get to spend with, you know, Ash and Lando. So I don't want to be elsewhere or thinking about other stuff. Yeah. So it's like very, very finite amount of time, and I want to make sure I'm present.
That's like a whole conversation is, I think, like for myself and a lot of the clients that we work with have some level of like ADHD going on. I think it's almost like a prerequisite for being entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
But how to actually be present with people when you do have all these ideas and stuff spinning out. It's super interesting hearing like different people's techniques. Like you're saying that, just creating that hard and fast. Bang, this is what I come across. I'm sure you still think about stuff at times.
But it allows me to like kind of pull back. I know, like I notice on Sunday morning on our walk, generally that's when I'll start like things will start popping up, and I try like kind of ignore it or like think about it later. But like obviously you're walking, your creative juices are flowing and stuff like that. And a lot of the things I think about, because it's like all my focus is on this business, is just all around this business. Yep. Yeah, I think if I had other things like a side hustle or stuff like that, I could probably focus my attention on that. But
then it'd still be the same
thing.
Same thing, it's just different thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely helped me understand like the value of like being present as well. Like even I'll still be on my phone and stuff like that, and I'll do a bit of doom scrolling and stuff, but I almost feel like worse now, because it's like before you doom scroll and it's like, oh, you know, I just wasted a bit of time. But now it's like, yeah, I might have doom scrolled and missed like. So
it's not that you wasted time, it's like you took time away from Landon.
Yeah, literally. And especially as well, like when he's just chilling or something, I'm like exhausted. I'm like, I just need like, just give me like a little bit of time. And like you'll be scrolling and you look up and he's like smiling at you or something. And you're like, oh, I just feel terrible. Yeah. Like I should have been like hanging out with you and stuff like that. And it's a hard balance to be like, I need to have like obviously time for myself to be able to recharge and be present with my family. But then also it's like, when do you take that time and how much time do you take? And yeah, it's a balancing act that I haven't been able to figure out yet.
I don't think anyone has.
Yeah.
It's always like that ongoing thing. One of the things that I've found, so I used to beat myself up a lot around not being present with people. And so like, because I'd be sitting there talking to people and I'd just be thinking about like, oh, this SOP needs to get written, like this thing needs to happen. Oh, I could do this, all of that. And so it wasn't really like truly present with people. And one of the things that I kind of have found, or at least allowed myself, which is a bit of a cop-out, is just acknowledging the fact that that's just the way that my brain works. And sometimes that, rather than beating myself up afterwards, just being like, hey, I'm not listening to you right now. I need a second. I need to write this down. Like I've got to crack an idea. I need to write this down in my Notion. So I use Notion and on my phone. I just need to write this down. And I'll jot it down. And then as soon as I have that, normally, unless it's like a real good idea, and then I'm like, I need to leave. I need to go do something with this.
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of time that'll slow it down enough to then be like, hey, cool. And then I can focus again. Because it's like, if I have an open loop in my brain, I can still like pay attention to people and understand what they're saying, but I'm now split, which is why sometimes in conversation I find if people start talking about something and then change direction without finishing what they were talking about there, sometimes they've changed direction and I'm still thinking about like, oh yeah, but what happened here? And so I've now split into like two people. One person who's thinking about what was this ending to this story, and then the other person trying to like be present with whatever tangent that they're going on. So there's some people I chat to who fatigue me so quickly because I need to split into like 10 people because it's not my turn to talk. They're talking, but I've now split into like 10 different brain avenues because they haven't closed their stories for all these things. And then at the end of it, I'm like,
it's exhausted.
I'm exhausted. This is rough. But yeah, I found noting stuff down when I had the idea it helped me a lot with just being like, cool.
Yeah.
I can
it's
switch
safe somewhere I can go back to it.
I can go back to it if I need it.
Yeah.
And I find like AI is helping a bit with that, being able to like catalog it and bring it back, which is cool. I think it's something that everyone kind of struggles with over time, how to be present, how to do that kind of stuff.
But yeah, I think just wrapping up, like becoming a dad has made me really think about social media as a platform and like what is the purpose of it and how can we use it in what way and being way more intentional.
Yeah.
Like obviously like being on it.
I would love for it to become a tool again.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I know social media is in the name. Social media is there for sharing things, but the way that it's been sold to us since then is as a tool for like helping us do stuff. And it's very quickly run away from that. Like our phones are no longer really a tool. They're kind of a tool. They're a bit of like a Pandora's box, reverse present that have been handed to us. But I think it'd be cool to see how we can turn them back into a tool that we actually use for good.
Yeah.